and just walk through and be on one side. The guide is always going to be ahead of us, and you must be along with the guide because the guide will explain and talk about quite a few things inside. And as and when the guide talks, you keep listening and you keep walking and you keep taking pictures. That is why we give headphones. So all three things happen at the same time, because if I stop in front of each and every statue, I will be in Rome for the next 3 years at a stretch. I will not come out of this museum at all. So we will pass through, and I will tell the guide to go to important places which is of importance to us, so that you get the maximum benefit out of it also. So we will be walking. Every ceiling is beautiful there. 3D ceilings, as I call them. Also the room of tapestries, carpets, wherein tells you the history of Rome, how it was in old times, before the Romans, after how the Romans conquered. So all these things are there. And then finally coming to the area where it is just about the beginning of the Sistine Chapel area. Now towards the Sistine Chapel area, there will be some steps. We walk down and then you will enter the chapel area. Now chapel area is very important for us because that is the cross section, I would say, or the cross point to enter the church. So you all go inside the chapel. Yes, the final destination is always going to be in the museum is the Sistine Chapel. When you're entering the Sistine Chapel, all your mobiles, all your cameras and video cameras have to be turned off. You're strictly not allowed to take pictures in the Sistine Chapel. Anywhere else is fine. And tapestries area, they do not allow you to take pictures if you have your flashes on. So tapestries area, when you come, a small section, but then you must turn off your how you say, the flash. Depends on the crowd inside that area. But you just keep looking. Of course, pictures are not allowed and you're not allowed to speak. And that is the place where if you have wearing a hat, you must take off your hats also, because it is the personal private praying room of the Pope. That is where he prays. Finally, around the Sistine Chapel area, at the end of the Sistine Chapel, there will be two doors. One on the left, that is when you're facing, when you're coming out this direction or going ahead in the chapel. Two doors that you will see. One is on the left, one is on the right. You do not go through any door. You just come straight door where you will see me standing, and I will put you on one side because we have to come out of the door which takes us to the museum, the church. Of course, that is the door on the right. But if I tell you right and left, if you're standing in the wrong direction, my left becomes your right. So inside the Sistine Chapel, you keep looking and you're walking out. Just walk towards the direction of the door. You will see me standing somewhere. And I know that's why I'm always ahead in the Sistine Chapel. The guide is behind, I am ahead always. So that I know that I can guide you people to one place. So the moment you see me, I'll just wave you so that you be on one side, because we're not allowed to talk. It's just mild whispers in that area. Mild area. So I will just wave you and be on one side at that moment. And once the entire group is there, we will leave through that small door which takes us to the church area. So we'll walk down towards the church, and of course we'll explain, or the guide will explain about the church outside, because no one is allowed to talk inside the church, and I will give you a free time to go in the church. Two things or three things which you must see inside the church. The most important, I always feel, is the moment you enter the basilica. On the right hand side will be a very famous sculpture, a statue in white marble of Mother Mary and Jesus dying in her arms. If you recall, we were in Germany, in Heidelberg. We went to the church, Jesuit church, where we saw a replica of it, the statue of La Pieta, call it the Pity. So this one which you will see, it is made up of original actual Italian marble known as the Carrara marbles, which is a town in Italy, and of course single piece of marble sculpted by Michelangelo. He's a master craftsman, Michelangelo himself, when he was 24 years old. And the only piece in the world of Michelangelo which has his signature on it, which is on the sash of Mother Mary, Michelangelo. He's known as Michelangelo here. Michelangelo Buonarroti, that's his last name, surname. But it's very, very light. You can't see it because it's very, at a distance also I would say. It's very old, of course. It stands at a distance, and it has been kept behind a bulletproof glass case now for many years. The reason being, About in 1970s or so, there was a crazy Italian drunk man who came one day and chopped off the nose of Mother Mary from there. And this is a masterpiece. So now the Italian government, or the Pope government I would say rather, is taking care of that precious monument inside, or the sculpture inside. So that is on to the right, the moment you enter, and right, and I will let you know once we are around that area. Then you keep walking along that area inside the church, you'll be seeing a lot of grave markers of popes, of the Queen of Sweden. Of course, you will see also a grave marker now of Pope John Paul II, which is inside the church now. Paintings that you're going to see inside the church, they're all mosaic chips joined together. It's not one single original paint. It's original, of course, but it's not one single painting. These are small chips which are joined together and they make one huge paint. Second important thing I would say, which you will see there, is the statue of Saint Peter's. Now 50% of the times the statue is blocked with barricades and ropes. You're not allowed to go there. 50% of the time, if you're lucky, you will go towards the statue and you will see a long line waiting, going around the statue, touching the feet of Saint Peter's. It's a bronze statue, green, which will almost become black now. So if it is open, an area section is open, you can always go and touch the feet of you can touch the feet of Saint Peter's and you can take the blessings of Saint Peter's. And just around that is the dome. You'll be around almost towards the end of the church. It is a dome which was designed by Michelangelo, the largest dome of the world. And below it is the canopy, which is known as baldacchini, made up of bronze, and that is almost about 84 feet in height. So that is the important things. And of course, when you go around, you will see the grave markers, you will see the chapels, some praying rooms. They may be open for us, they may not be open for us. So you have to, if it is open, you can always go in and there will be a guard or a policeman standing there who will tell you no photos inside the chapel. So just keep going inside the chapel area. If it's open, you can always go in, spend 2-3 minutes also to look around or to sit down and pray, something like that they do it. So the chapel is meant as a prayer room. In the street here. So whatever you see around in and around the church area, everything comes out from the Colosseum, including what is inside. When I say inside, the pillars, the marbles or the granites, what you're going to see, it was part of the Colosseum, which was at one time the grandest structure of the world. Before this, of course, there was a church. The original church was in that place. We are 2 levels now, and they have built this new church 1506. And they have completed 500 years also. But the first church was there in the year, was in the 4th century, 3rd BC, and it was built by Constantine, the emperor from Constantinople, and which is current day Turkey, Istanbul. So that is where he was from, and he was the one who introduced the religion of Christianity in this place. Because he kind of liked the religion, and he was the one who introduced that religion, and after that it started to spread out. Before that, they always believed the Greeks. It was the Greeks who were ruling, so it was paganism, pagans. So they used to believe, they used to worship in temples, and they used to believe the Greek gods like Zeus, Minerva, Jupiter, Venus, all those like Hercules, for example. So those were the kind of gods they used to worship, and those were known as pagans, paganism. So it was always the temples in initial times, and with the introduction of Christianity, that's when the churches, etc., started to be in existence. Before that, they used to have a very small population of Christians or Catholics. They used to have it in small rooms, hiding somewhere from the general public or the general royal members. So that's how it was in old times. I'm going to give you, that is the Vatican area, the Vatican Wall. We are still in Italy, we are still in Rome. The moment you put your feet, in the museum, the first foot in the museum, you're in the Vatican country. So you're in a totally new country. The only citizens of this country are one, the Pope, the people who work around here because they have their own railway station, radio station, television station, so on and so forth. They have their own post office, they have their own bank, they have their own personal police, and the security guards of the Pope, who are the Swiss soldiers. They're also the citizens of the Vatican state. and we will be coming down a little bit ahead. We will come down, so be ready to be off the bus. Like I said, don't take anything with you. Leave all the bags in the bus. The smallest thing is fine. After traffic light, right. After traffic light, right. No ground. Did I cross? No. Let's stop. Right. Very. Gianni Colo. Very. Only the Gianni Colo. Pick up Gianni. I come Gianni. You park Gianni Colo. You inside parking. Park. So, just after a traffic light, the bus will go a little bit ahead, and Wojtek is going to drop us ahead in this place. So we will come down in this place. We will come down in this place. You have to be careful. The railings are there. There is a passage for us to go. When we come down, be on one side, please. And it's a long line to go in normally. This is there.